Hi, my name is Al Getler, and welcome back to another episode of Lead or Be Led. You know, I'm really going to get right into it with our guests here today. I will tell you that we always have leaders on our show that impress and leaders on our show that have accomplished great things, but I'm especially happy to have back for the third time on our show, Lee Cockerell. Let me tell you about Lee. Lee is an author. He's a blogger. He's a fantastic speaker. But, you know, the thing that really puts Lee on the map is he's one of the few people that got to go to work every day and have a mouse for a boss. He ran Disney World for a number of years, and to me, that's as close as you get to royalty as possible. So let's welcome back to the show, Lee Cockerell. Hi, Lee.
Hi there. Good to see you, Al.
Good to be here with you again, and I'll tell you, to have Mickey for a boss, what's that like?
He's pretty cool. He expects you to work hard because he works every day.
He surely does. He surely does.
And he always behaves himself, too.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
That's right. I don't think I've ever caught Mickey not behaving himself.
Good thing for leaders to remember, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good thing. One of my favorite artifacts from visiting Disney World, of course, the pin, is the pin collecting. That was your idea, wasn't it?
Well, actually, it wasn't my idea. Some of our people in 2000, they went over to the Olympics in Japan, and they saw all these sports people trading pins. And they said, wow, that's a good idea. Why don't we do that for the bicentennial? And they came back, and the pin business was a very small business back then, about $3 million a year. Today, it's over $100 million since they started that program. And kids love to collect them, princess pins, pirate pins. Everybody collects pins now, and it's a good memory to take away, and a lot of people love it, and it turned out to be a great thing.
Well, I have to go back and apologize to a bunch of people because I think I keep crediting you for having that idea, but that's...
I'll take it.
There you go. Good, yeah. Well, the pin thing is amazing, and you know, we have participated in pin collecting. We've gone down to Disney World, but my favorite pin that I have in my collection, in fact, I bought several of them, I keep one on my desk, is simply Mickey's white gloved hand and his thumb in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Here's Mickey right here. I don't know if you see Mickey with flag pin. American flag.
Oh, no, I didn't spot that. Yeah, look at that. Well, you know, he's a symbol of Disney, and that thumbs up is really what it's all about. You know, when it comes to Mickey and how he is basically idolized as the symbol of all things that are great about Disney, how does the average worker, you know, put that smile on their face every day, become a cast member, and do it day in and day out? What drives them to do that?
You know, again, I think it's the culture you work in. If you feel appreciated, you go out and do a good job. Even if you're not, even if you're mad at your manager, you go take care of the guests because that's what professionals do. And that's just a simple concept. When you go on stage, you put that smile on. It's your job. Professionals they know their role in the show and they perform it. And I think it's just it's the environment that's created and the culture that's created, and it becomes contagious. Everybody knows. They're very proud of doing what they do, and they love to make guests happy and children. You know, 50% of the people come to Disney World come without children even. It's a huge, you know.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. Someone said to me just over the summer that, you know, they knew someone who was going to Disney World without their kids, and they said, who would go to Disney World without their kids? And I looked at them and I said, I can't wait to go to Disney World without my kids. Because there's so much to do and see that, you know, when you have kids with you, when you don't have kids with you, you do so many different things. Yeah.
Right. And I think we used to, I've heard this a long time, and I think it's true. Your people won't be committed to you unless they're sure you're committed to them.
Yeah.
And we try to show in many ways that we're committed to our employees so that they wake up committed. You know, committed is an interesting word. Commitment to me means you'll go all the way. Mm-hmm. You go all the way for the customer, for the guest. No matter how hard it is, no matter how tough they are, no how unhappy they are, your job's to turn them around and give them a good day. So when everybody does that, it's pretty magical.
Well, you know, my cousin is Bob, and my cousin Bob has worked for Disney for 30 years. Wow. He works down in Orlando. He works for the construction company. And I can tell you firsthand, and that's what I truly love about the Disney company. I have never seen him for a day not be happy that he works for Disney. not represent the company very, very well, whether he's actually in the park when we're down there visiting with him or whether he's at a family event up north here where we live. He always represents the company in the finest way. And I'm so impressed by that my cousin can be as happy as he has been for 30 years. And by the way, when something new is happening and he's involved with constructing it, he is so excited for what's going to happen.
It is true. It's true. We all want to be in the right culture, whether it's our marriage, our church, our job. We spend more time at work than we do at home, frankly. So you want to go to a place where you feel appreciated and respected and included and involved and listened to, and your opinion counts. And when you do that, boy, people are ready to go,
Yeah.
What they say, what somebody said once, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what a lot of leaders forget. People don't know. They don't care if you went to Harvard or Princeton.
No.
Do you care about me?
Right. Right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned too in one of our previous interviews that when you were in the hospitality business, your philosophy had always been to walk around and check things out. And I do know that my cousin, even though he's involved in construction, not exactly a customer interface type of job, he's still required to go out into the park every once in a while and interact with the customer. Why is that, Lee?
Everybody at Disney works at the parks. It's called cross-utilization. During Christmas, Easter, President's Weekend, any busy period, everybody goes out. Finance, marketing, we all go out and do really the easier jobs. They won't let us do the hard ones. So I would clean tables or cook French fries or greet guests at the front of the park, and it gives people, everybody at Disney understands how hard it is physically and mentally to do those jobs out there at 95 degrees and the customers coming at you, and it's a good experience. We want everybody to actually know the business of the business and feel it in their heart and feel it emotionally. And they come back really feeling better about everything once they go out and perform those roles.
So I love that. It's not just about the interaction with the customer, but it's about remembering that other cast members are out there doing the job with the customer, face to face. And that's not
Absolutely.
easy, day in and day out.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Actually very hard.
And to close the loop on our pin discussion and customers, I mean, one of the things that my cousin told me is that everybody's given a collection of pins to trade as they're out in the park. And
Right.
if someone's never been to Disney World or Disneyland and been involved with pin trading, it's a lot of fun to do, and it's a lot of fun to go to a Disney cast member and do a trade. And so I think that's another very cool customer interaction that Disney has put in place. But Lee, we want to get into your new book a bit, and if we can show that on the screen here. And show our viewers the cover of Lee's new book. It's called The Customer Rules. And in this, Lee, you have put together some rules for businesses and really in life almost for folks to live by. And so I'd like to hit a few of those rules during your visit here with me here today. Let's talk about the rule is that you win people one at a time, but that you lose them by the thousands.
Well, we see that all the time with social media today. It takes a long time to win a customer, loyalty. You've taken care of them for years, and then you make one big mistake, and they can go online, they can tweet it out, they can go out to 100,000 people. It happened on one of the major airlines when the troops were coming back from Afghanistan. They charged them for their luggage, their fourth bag, and the troops on the plane made a YouTube video and uploaded it the minute they landed, and that day this airline got over 200,000 complaints about how they treated our armed forces. And they came back and said, well, they misunderstood us. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you got to be careful. People go out there and even Disney, if they're unhappy at Disney, they'll go online and tell millions of people about it.
Yeah.
Or at restaurant. I'm sure you look at the reviews sometimes before you go to a restaurant now. And I do not choose some restaurants based on a trend I see in the reviews from TripAdvisor or others.
Yeah. It is amazing how fast social media today makes that change and how fast that word spreads. It used to be that we said if a customer has a negative experience, they'll tell 30 people. Well, now it's more like 30 million.
Yeah, exactly.
if it gets out of hand.
Right.
Yeah.
And some people have a wider range. They can reach a lot of people. A lot of people are followed.
Yeah.
Some really big people who are followed. I mean, they can reach millions.
Well, and you've made that decision in your career that you have now gone to the web. You have a website, leecockerell.com. You even have a couple of apps out there for various phones. You blog, you get your message out to people. So you are really, you have enacted upon that getting the word out about your positive message of leadership and service is so important, and I appreciate that. So you have done the reverse from the standpoint of bringing people into the fold in service, and we'll get your website up later on, a little bit later on in the show. I want to go to one of the other points that you have in your book. You have a role called "Be Your Own Shakespeare." What does that mean?
Well, I think a lot of our businesses and organizations haven't really written their story. They need to write their own story. What is it from the time the guest calls you on the phone till they arrive, to what happens to them along the way, the interactions, the contact with your employees, and write that story, write that script like you're writing a screenplay, and then hire the right players to play the roles, and then rehearse them and tell them what they can say and what they can't say, and then go out there and make sure they're putting on a good show every day. The big red curtain opens on every business every day. And are you ready to perform? And have you written your story so everybody that works for you understands what the story is and what's the ending?
Yeah.
And some people just open and they have no plan, no story. It doesn't come together. It doesn't hold together. It doesn't make sense. And take that time to do that, and it pays off.
Well, Lee, it's interesting you say that because you're retired now, and you could be sitting back and enjoying yourself and not flying around the country giving speeches, not writing books, not doing blogs. I mean, what drives you to be your own Shakespeare and to tell the story as passionately as you tell it in this stage of your life?
Well, two things. First, I'm a terrible golfer, so I gave that up, and decided that I like to speak because people applaud, and I love that. But, I finally figured out when I wrote the first book that I had something to say. I'd worked for a year, and I always put it off. I didn't think I should do it. I didn't know if I had anything to say, and somebody encouraged me to do that. And I wrote it, and it's nice to hear from people when they say, I read your book, and it really helped me. I heard from a pre-med student the other day, said it's going to make him a better doctor.
Ah, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. Or somebody will write and tell me, you saved my marriage. I went home and started being nice to my kids and my husband, and they noticed. I thought it was them. It was actually me. And so I think when people can pick up some of these points of view and say, he could be talking about me. Yeah. And they go and they start acting differently, and it feels good. It's fun.
You're the type of guy, Lee, and I can only assume that I'm seeing the authentic Lee. I've seen you a bit off camera as well. I mean, you're a pretty amazing guy. You're the kind of guy I want to take by the hand, and we have a coffee chain here in our part of the country that I don't think does the best job of hiring people that care. And I'd just like to say, meet Lee. Have you speak to them for 5 minutes.
I am authentic because my 3 grandkids like me better than their parents. So this is.
Well, you live with that dream, buddy, but that's all right. Behind you, I realize there's some folks in our wide shot that are seeing a Mickey Mouse that's behind you, and we haven't mentioned it on this episode. That Mickey Mouse behind you, I think you told me before, is made out of spoons?
Yeah, that just shows what innovation is and creativity. Who would have ever thought? It's made out of all spoons, spoon handles, soup spoons, dessert spoons, teaspoons, iced tea spoons, you name it. If there's a spoon, it's on there, and it's all spoons. And there's only one, this one, at an artist in Chicago. It was made for me by a good friend of mine.
Well, that speaks to who you are, Lee, too, because first of all, in your years of hospitality, I'm sure you put a lot of spoons on a lot of tables.
Yeah.
But it also symbolizes too that someone thinks enough to give you an artifact like that in Mickey's form that really does encapsulate your career. So I'm being told by our control room that we're about out of time, but there's one very important thing that I want to leave you on, and that is one of your rules about treating others the way you want to be treated, and something special you told me about that.
Well, I think one of the rules we put in there is treat your customers or your patients or your students or whatever job you're in, treat them like your loved ones. If you're in the hospital and you're a nurse, treat that person laying in the bed like it's your mother or your sister or your daughter. And to get people to understand that teachers, don't worry about the union, worry about the student. In every job, worry about the folks, and everything else will work out just fine. And think about them as loved ones, because they are somebody's loved ones, and they should be respected and they should be treated right, and especially in healthcare.
Yeah. Well, Lee Cockerell, I'll tell you that rule is a great place for us to unfortunately have to bring an end to this, but that is so important, and it is this message that I wish I could send this video instantly to a lot of people that interface with folks every day in their jobs, because it is so important. I want to show your book one more time on the screen and urge folks to go out and buy the book. You can get it on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, I'm sure other places. You can also go to your website, which is www.leecockerell.com. Sign up for your blog, receive your newsletter, as I do, and I always enjoy seeing that come into my inbox. Lee, it's just an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I hope you come back and see us again real soon, and by all means, good luck on the book, because I'm sure it's going to be another huge success.
Good. Thank you, Al. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lee. Well, folks, that wraps up another episode of Leader Be Led. We really do enjoy bringing you the best of leadership, and having Mr. Lee Cockerell on the show was just been an absolute pleasure. In fact, this is only one of 3 episodes because there's so many things. In fact, I could have Lee on 3 more times and not even get deep as I'd like to. He is just such a font of creativity, of leadership, of customer service. But go out and check the other episodes with Lee. Go out and buy his book. Certainly comment about our episode here on the website, on the YouTube page. Share this link, because there are so many people that really do need to hear the message of treating others the way you'd like your loved ones to be treated. I'm going to leave you on that note. My name is Al Getler, and I'm your host of Leader Be Led. Thanks. Take care.